You're listening to BL in the Air. My name is Shai,
And I'm Alex.
and we have a movie we're talking about today. We're going to be going through and discussing the Taiwanese movie Marry My Dead Body. But before we get into that, Alex, what's in the air with you? What have you been watching?
I am still so behind on everything, but
Yeah.
the
Well,
thing
there's so many shows right now.
I don't think I've ever been watching this many on-air shows of like
Yeah.
anything, like at any point in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but my stubborn, I want to like it so bad. It's like every week, it's no matter what I'm behind on, I stay up to date on my stubborn,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to like it so bad, but I hate the main character.
Oh, no.
So, so he has like um Payu from Love in the Air vibes, right? Is like how he started, right? Where it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like I'm gonna educate this younger whatever dude, type of thing. And of course he's got kind of the same look, right? He has his hair, he's got like dark, longer hair, and it's like in a bun sometimes and whatever, like the same way that like Boss would wear it as Payu,
Mm-hmm.
right? He's awful. He's the
Like, is
worst.
he he's like purposefully toxic, or like what's the
Yes,
vibe? Okay.
I hate him the same way I hate Tarn.
Oh, are you supposed to want them to be together though? Or
Yes,
like,
they're Ingalls in this fucking show.
oh no.
But the thing is, I
Okay.
don't know anybody that likes him. Like I've been like in like
Mm.
this groups I've been like watching like other people talk about him. Everybody hates him, and everybody is like, I need June to like destroy this guy. And
Okay, yeah.
and
That everything I hear about this show is like so interesting because I haven't seen it, but I've been hearing like week by week updates, and I'm just like, what is this show?
yeah, I want to love it. Like I want to
Uh-huh.
so bad, right? And it's one of those if they could just give me a redemption arc from him, which I don't know how they're going to do at this point. This after
Yeah.
episode 5 might have sealed it for me, or like as because episode 6 was this weekend, but episode
Okay.
5, somebody described the NC scene. I wish I remember where I read it, but somebody described it as being written by a straight person.
That's how I feel about a lot of meme shows as well. I'm like,
Okay,
yeah.
but yes, but this one specifically, when you watch it, like if you watch it, you'll
Uh-huh.
understand completely. Um,
Okay, interesting.
yeah,
Okay.
it's not great. Um,
Yeah, because I know you said recently that you thought they were setting up for like a redemption arc for him.
they had it, and then they just didn't do it.
Oh,
Which
okay.
to be fair, it was because the guy who was mad basically just told him to fuck off instead, right?
Mm.
Because there was like this apology thing, but the guy, the Payu type character, doesn't fucking know how to apologize.
Uh,
Which is where one of the problems where he deviates from Payu, right? Because Payu would know how to fucking apologize. Um,
yeah.
and it just everyone's been telling him he's like you're too much of an asshole to this kid, right? And he
Mm-hmm.
just looks at them and then continues to be an asshole.
No,
And
I hate that.
I don't understand. Like, okay, there's picking on somebody that you like, and then
Hmm.
there's this. It's
Yeah,
so
sounds like
frustrating.
not a great relationship then.
It's not. And now we've added a new couple, and I don't know what the fuck's going on with them. Um,
That's kind of, yeah, that's interesting to add a new couple like halfway through the show.
so it's a GL couple on top of that.
Oh, okay.
I
Are
fast
they
forward through the NC
toxic?
scene because I was uncomfortable.
Oh, oh no.
And not because it was like girls. Like let me get that straight. Like I am
Uh,
not uncomfortable because it's girls. That doesn't bother me. It's because of how everything happened. Like
okay.
I don't there was no build up to anything. It was just all of a sudden they were just going at it. And I was like, "Oh." But it was like the one girl was like so horrified for like the first like minute of it.
Oh God. Oh no, this show just sounds really red flaggy.
It is, but it's not even fun red flags, you know? It's because
Mm-hmm.
like clearly I've been open about how much I'm for red flags, right? Between Ming and
Yeah.
Vegas. This
Mm-hmm.
is not the fun type of red flag.
Uh, that's
So
rough. I'm curious about the show though.
yeah, like I think I would still like clearly I like it enough to keep watching, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm having fun. I'm just mad the entire time. I would
Yeah.
maybe not a strong recommend, but I wouldn't dissuade somebody from watching it. It's kind of where I'm at, you
Okay.
know? Um,
Yeah. I mean, I'm down with a show that's like entertaining above all else.
hmm So, what is entertaining and what I do recommend is The Next Prince.
Yes, that is like the next show that I need to start because I've
Yes,
been really excited for that one.
it is everything I wanted from Z and Nunu. Everything.
Oh, I love like a Prince theme show too, you know, like red, white, and royal blue type thing.
Yeah, Nunu, perfect Prince material. Just
Mm,
he has
I
the
can
vibe
see it.
anyway, right? Um,
Uh-huh.
and I don't. It's a little self-aware in some areas, I think, because like the this week's episode started with just Nunu on the piano, singing. So we just, it's fine. It's the new
Yeah.
guitar scene, I guess. Um,
Yeah.
but it's fine because it's Nunu, right? Like you don't have to
Yeah.
skip those. Um,
Yeah.
and I will say there were some complaints in the first. I think it's the first episode. There's like a fight scene that is like not great. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I
Okay.
don't. I don't even care, right?
Yeah.
Like I cared in the moment, and then I was like afterwards, I'm like, I actually don't care. It was good enough.
Uh-huh.
Give me Xenonu chemistry.
Yeah. I know. I need to start that one because I've been so excited for it. So.
Yeah, we're only 4 episodes in, so you know,
Hmm.
you've got time to catch up.
Yeah, that's a good amount too, where it's like, no, I'm not like dying every week
Yeah,
waiting.
yeah, I'm like halfway through episode 4 right now. And I'm like, yeah, I can't
Uh-huh.
wait to watch the rest of it. That's what I'm gonna do tonight after we finish recording.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah, I think those are the only 2 I stay up to date on.
Okay.
Um, what's in the air with you?
Okay, yeah, I'm in the middle of several shows that are currently airing.
Hmm
I'd say I'm most excited for the X Morning because I watched the first
Oh,
episode for that.
that was so good.
It was so good. I was screaming like the
Yeah.
whole episode. I was like, I can't believe this is occurring.
Yeah,
Um,
it doesn't feel real. Um,
I know, especially the scenes where like they're in college, whatever, and it kind of mirrors like
mhm.
scenes in Sodas, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh fuck, this. I'm a fan. I'm being serviced.
Yeah, it's definitely they know what they're doing with it, but it's if you haven't seen Sodus, it doesn't take away from the show. I would
Exactly. Yeah,
say
it's not like connected in any way, but there
no.
are some like,
If you know, you know.
if you know, you know. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So
Um,
that one, I mean, there's only one episode out.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm loving it so far. But I did start and finish Top Form as well.
I haven't
So.
finished it. I'm behind by 2 episodes.
Oh my God.
I
Wait,
know,
there's only
right?
like 11.
I know. I quit at 9 because
Oh,
I had work travel and all kinds of other stuff, and so I got way behind.
yeah. That's fair.
I want to finish, but I it's one of those I love it so much I don't want to finish.
Yeah. I
But
mean, there's supposed to be more seasons, right?
yes, supposedly 2 more
Okay.
seasons. There was a
Okay.
little bit of iffy. I don't know if you were up on those discussions we were having in the Discord server, which in the link tree, guys. Um, but there was a little like back and forth on like Smart's like management
Right.
because
I did see something about that.
yeah, because he's not under the same management as Boom, but Boom is under the same management that did the show, so same company.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that does make it harder to
yeah, well,
coordinate.
so Smart was under a contract where it was basically a joint management thing just to make it easier for schedules and stuff like that. And then I think it was like right before episode 9 or maybe 8. Like it was a little bit earlier in the show. His like original company released a statement goes, "Yeah, so our contract's done now. Thanks for working with us. Cool, moving on." And we were like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah.
And and so that happened, but then the company that produced the show was like, "Actually, we're not done. I don't know what you're talking about. Like we're still working together." Um like
Hmm.
okay, so there was that and then like the official like Top Forum Twitter account like tweeted out some weird shit that was like real vague like this isn't helping everybody freaking out right now, guys. Like can we not do this?
Yeah.
Like come on, we need clarity on what's happening. So I don't think anything's really been clarified, but they're still together. So
Okay.
and then today we got our fandom name, so which is like Aurolus or something like that. So we have a like stuff's happening. Um
Uh-huh.
So,
Okay.
yeah. So I know it was a little iffy on what was going to happen with season 2, season 3 because of that, but I don't
Yeah.
think Smart Boom's going anywhere anytime soon because Top Form did so well that I think both
Mm-hmm.
companies would be stupid to break them up now. Um,
Yeah, definitely.
like even
Yeah, I'm
if it
definitely
isn't,
expecting more.
yeah, even if it's not season 2, season 3, like it's stupid right now to break them up. Um,
Mm-hmm.
especially they're so
Yeah.
comfortable with each other too. So it's one of those like when you have like perfect chemistry like that already, like don't mess it up for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm assuming they'll work it out
yeah,
somehow and
that's
there'll
what I'm
probably
hoping.
be another season. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Did you?
I enjoyed it. I definitely like was expecting something a little different, but I still liked it, you know. It's very much like slice of life, which thought it was gonna have like I thought it was gonna be more of like a thriller in a
Mhm.
way, or like a little more psychological, and it wasn't at all. But
No.
some other people in our Discord server were like, "Oh my god, I also thought the same way." So at least I'm not like crazy for thinking that.
Yeah. No, I definitely see where
Which
you got that from. And I was cracking up because I
yeah,
was like, "You're thinking what now?" Because I was way ahead at that point.
yeah. No, I was totally expecting like I don't know, something a little and I was like so here for it, but then it was just normal. And I was like, listen, I'm not disappointed, but it would have been really cool if they took that angle. So,
It would have been, but I also just love Jin the way he.
yeah. Yeah, I definitely thought it was going a completely different direction, but I enjoyed it still.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to finish it. I'm not ready to say goodbye.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
just
I think we'll see more of them soon.
yeah, I just maybe don't make Akin cry so much because he cries more than I do.
He cries so much.
I don't think there's a single episode where he didn't cry. I watched a montage,
Yeah. Did you? I believe that fully.
which I mean, relatable, but still.
Yeah. Well, speaking of crying,
Cried today.
cried today because of this movie, which I guess we can start talking about that.
Yeah.
So, our movie today, it's called Marry My Dead Body, and it was originally released in 2022. I think it was released in theaters in 2023. I've seen it said either way. It's a Taiwanese movie, and it's basically about a police officer, Ming Han. He is picking up evidence. He ends up picking up a red envelope. Because of the red envelope, he has to have a ghost wedding, or he has like super bad luck. And then after the wedding, he's haunted by his ghost husband until he can help the ghost move on and reincarnate. So,
I love this
yeah,
concept.
I know. I do too. I had never like heard of a ghost wedding before. And so I like looked it up and um yeah, I guess in for people who don't know, in Taiwan it's like a thing you can to like get married to someone who's deceased, or like two people who are deceased can get married or something. It's an interesting concept. I've never heard of it before.
So, so there's also a Thai show that we watched that has ties to this. Um
Oh yeah, what show?
so it's the special episode that we won't watch. That's what
Oh,
happens in it.
the episode that will not be named.
Yes. So if you know, you know. If you don't know, I'm not telling you.
Yeah, we don't want to spoil it. Also, it's just sad, so you don't need to know.
Yeah,
But
it's I refuse to watch it, but that's what happens in that
yeah.
episode.
Okay, okay. Yeah. I I didn't know this was a thing, but I mean,
hmm
super interesting concept, and like there's been lots of ghost themed BLs we've seen before, but this one's definitely like an interesting take on it. So,
hmm
yeah.
So, we have three characters. I'm gonna butcher some of these names. I apologize. Um, so we have Wu Minghan, who is our police officer, who's played by Greg. I, I don't
Sue?
know. Sue, is that how you say that? I was like, I know I'm gonna
I think
butcher it
so.
because there's a
Sue.
silence somewhere in there. But then we have Mao Pang Yu or Mao Mao, which which I love, played by
Mm-hmm.
Austin Lin, who is now one of my favorite actors, I think. I love him.
I
He
do
was
too,
great.
especially seeing him in this. He's so
Yeah.
good.
I don't think I've ever seen him in anything before, but he was great in this. I fell in love.
Yeah.
And then we also have another character named Lin Chu Ching, played by Jingle Wang, and
Mm-hmm.
she's also a police officer.
Yes. And of course, there are more characters.
Yeah,
We'll
we'll
get
get
to
it
when
to him
we
as
get
we need it.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this movie is pretty much like, I think it's marketed at oh my god, marketed as a like comedic action comedy
Hmm.
in a way. Yeah, and I absolutely love the vibe, and it was such like a fast-paced, like funny tone. Like I've seen a few Taiwanese movies before, but like not a lot, and this definitely makes me like so excited to watch more, especially comedies. I was like
Hmm.
actually laughing out loud watching this. So,
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. My real start into like Asian dramas was really a deep dive into Taiwanese rom-coms.
mhm.
Because like I started with like Boys Over Flowers and then immediately went to Meteor Garden and then went down this like rabbit hole of like Taiwanese rom-coms and that's where I went for a long time.
Yeah. No, I could see how you get stuck there for a while.
Yeah, they're so much fun. So I
Mhm.
definitely need to find the funnier like Taiwanese BLs now, I think.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
so
also
then
spoiler warning, we're going to go through the whole movie, so
yeah.
keep that in mind.
So I
Yeah.
love your first note on this.
The very first comment I made at the very beginning of the movie is just capital ass. There's so much ass in this movie. It's crazy.
There really is. I saw
Yeah.
the note before I started watching and I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
don't think I've ever seen a movie with this much ass in it, but I'm not
Not a
complaining.
not an Asian one.
Yeah, definitely
So,
not. So, I guess the reason for the ass, basically, this guy who's our main character, Ming Han, he's the police officer. He is at the gym and it looks like he's like cruising, like, he's finding cute guys to hook up with. But actually, he's a cop. So he basically is, he's a little slimy bastard. But
I love him.
he finds yeah, he finds a target. So he's the one who like he's looking for something specifically. He finds a target. He kind of, flirts with the target and the target kind of leads him into the showers and they get in there and this cop is like, I'm a cop, show me your ID. And at first I was like, this is entrapment, because like that's what police in the US used to do. They would like, trick gay men into being gay and then would be like, I'm arresting you for being gay in public. So that's what I thought was happening, but it's not exactly that. Instead, the cop, he's actually looking for drugs. And I guess, I don't know if he's just like, oh, this guy's gay, which means he has drugs or something, but somehow he makes the connection. He is right. Because when the guy gives him his ID, he sees that there's like powder on the ID. And so they arrest that guy. And like while he's arresting him, he flips the guy like over his shoulder onto the ground. And he makes this comment like, "Oh, like people like you." And the guy is like, "What do you mean by that?" Because like it sounds very homophobic. But then the cop Minghan, he's just like, "Oh, I mean like rich bastards like you." And it's like, nah, he was definitely being homophobic. That's kind of his whole character arc in the beginning, is that he's kind of a homophobe. So yeah, this is quite an opening for a movie.
There's like a eyebrow raised thing moment that happened when they were like trying to like connect and I'm like, what is happening right now? Is this how
Yeah.
we flirt now?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's definitely like going a little too hard at it, but
Yeah.
it works, I guess. I'm also
Somehow.
just not used to seeing so much ass so quickly in the beginning of a movie.
Yeah, opening scene. Like, soon as we get out of the gym and into the locker room, it's just ass.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's not the
So,
only time we'll see it this movie either. Um,
no. I don't think I noted every time we saw ass, but I should have.
I think the only other time is at the house later. Like like when he's thinks he's alone in the house.
No, there's
Um,
another time too, but we'll get to
okay.
that. I know where.
Okay. I don't remember that then.
Yeah. So,
So,
after the arrest happens, we go to like the police precinct, and there's another officer. Her name is Tsu Ching, and I'm not really familiar with like Taiwanese like police or military uniforms, but she has this like big hat and like bunch of like metal things, and her thing is that they keep making her like pin. She's kind of like the poster girl,
hmm
but she has more like ambition to do more than just be like the pretty face at the police office, like the
Yeah.
police precinct. So, um, and she is kind of like partners with Ming Han, and like she scolds him for being homophobic, and the board of ethics basically come up to him and they're on his case because they're like, yeah, that guy you arrested accused you of discrimination because like the
You
way
were,
you went
yeah.
about this entrapment kind of thing is like not exactly legal, which I'm glad to see because I was also like, this seems really sketchy.
Yeah. And the guy he arrested, I think also has like a really rich dad or something like that, so pulled some strings. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
it was definitely very homophobic.
Yeah, can't say I blame him.
No.
And yeah, Ming Han himself, he always makes comments like, "Oh, I that whiny gay guy or whatever." He's just like very blatantly homophobic. So,
Yeah.
you know, woohoo that he gets in trouble for being an
Yeah.
asshole. So,
Yeah.
um and so connected to this case because their whole thing is they're trying to track down this get to the bottom of this like drug ring.
hmm
So, from the first guy they arrested, they end up getting another lead for like the drug thing, and Ming Han and Su Ching, they go on like this big car chase because
hmm
they found a guy who has like a bunch of drugs in his car, but they're fast and furious thing like down through the streets trying to catch him, destroying like a fuck ton of cars. And eventually the cops, they get their car stuck.
Was driving.
Ming Han is driving, and oh my god, it's so stupid. He like gets stuck between two other cars, and the people are like, "What are you doing?" And Su Ching is like, "What are you doing?" But so the car gets stuck, and the suspect also gets in a crash, and so suspect's on foot, and Su Ching is just like, "I'm gonna go after him. Like, you just get the evidence. Like, basically, just like stay out of the way, kind of thing." Um. And she ends up like running after the suspect and like tackling him off a building, and like she gets him basically, and Ming Han just has to go around and collect all the drugs he like ditched out the window.
The guy that they were chasing was hilarious too because he like sees where they're stuck and like stops and taunts them and then keeps going.
Yeah, he like literally stops, rolls on the window, laughs, and then continues. And I'm just like, it's so funny. Yeah, so Ming Han, he's collecting evidence. He's like in a park just picking up a bunch of stuff, and one thing he picks up is this like red envelope. And immediately like he picks that up and like a bunch of aunties jump out of the bushes. and
So
and they're
funny.
like, "Oh my I he gets like ambushed by a bunch of like grandmas. It's so good."
Mhm.
And they're all excited. They're like, "Oh my god, like you picked it up, like it's destiny. Like because you picked up the envelope, like you're destined to ghost marry my grandchild." My grandchild Mao Mao. And Ming Han is like, that's kind of weird, whatever. And then finds out that Mao Mao is a man, and he's like, fuck no, I'm not marrying a dude. And all the aunties are like, listen, we have marriage equality now, and that includes marriage equality between ghosts. So
I love them.
I love them so much. I'm like, that's such a solid point. Like, get his ass. And Minghan like puts it back. He's like, yeah, no, I'm not doing this. Like, whatever, and like leaves. And like the aunties are like, well, you're gonna be cursed with a bunch of bad luck. It's gonna bite you in the ass. Dun dun dun.
Oh, it does.
Yep. And so when he goes back to the office, he gets to his desk and oh my god, the red envelope is on his desk. And he's like freaking out because he's like, how did this get here? Like, um, he he asks his neighbor, whose name is like Chubby, because he's just like a chubby guy, I guess. But he's like, did you see anyone drop this off? And Chubby's like, no, no one was here. So Minghan's like freaking out. Um, and he takes it and he just like throws it away immediately. And like the person comes and like collects the trash and empties it. And his boss, the police captain, comes up and is like, oh, hey, did you see the envelope I left on your desk? It's like, it's got a bunch of money in it for you. And so this is the start of the bad luck. So he has to go like chasing. He's like chasing after the trash can, and he gets up to the dumpsters, and like the trash truck was just there, and it's driving away, and he's running after it, and he's getting like super fucked up, like Looney Tunes style, like
Kind of insane.
yes, he like almost gets hit by a car, and then he's running, and then someone almost drops like a fridge on him from like the apartment building, and then he keeps running, and then he like actually gets hit by a car and is like goes to the hospital. So yeah, at this point he's kind of like, oh, the bad luck is started because I didn't marry that guy.
Shows back up to work and he's in like this insane cast and everything, and everybody's just like, "What?"
Yeah,
He's
what
like,
happened?
he's like, "Don't worry about it."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so basically, because of the guy that they arrested previously, they are able to get new drug leads from him. Um, and at the same time, Minghan, he gets demoted actually because of like all the shit he's been doing. And
Valid.
yeah, very valid. Is it a part of his bad luck or is it just the consequences of his action?
It's
We'll
both.
never know. It's definitely both.
Both.
But kind of the straw that breaks the camel's back here is that they're like going through the ammunition and they're like counting how many bullets have been used for whatever, and somehow he ends up setting off the gun and the bullet like reflects, it like bounces off the metal thing and like grazes his leg. And he's like freaking out. So this is the breaking point where he's like agrees to the marriage basically.
Yeah, I finally scared the shit out of him enough to take things seriously.
Yeah,
Um,
he's like, I almost died and I might actually die if I don't do this ghost marriage.
yeah, this would be about the time that I would also be like, okay,
Yeah.
let's get married.
Yeah. Like it can't be nearly as bad as shooting yourself. So
Yeah,
so he decides to go through with the ghost marriage. So they're in like the church or temple. I'm honestly, I don't really know what religion it is. If it's like Buddhism or some other.
I I think it was
I'm not
Buddhism
sure.
because at one point the subtitles were talking about like Buddha help us or something like that.
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah, I wasn't exactly sure, but so yeah, they're in like the temple, and it's like it like cuts like straight to the wedding day, and so he's like sitting there, and they they get married. They basically they like do this thing where the like spiritual leader or whatever, he like throws some things and they like reflect that the spirit is happy with the choice or whatever.
Hmm.
I I don't know the actual words for any of this stuff. I
No.
apologize, but um and so like that happens, so like they continue with the wedding, and then um Mao Mao's father comes and he is not a fan of the idea. He's like pretty against it, but like the grandmas kind of like usher him out, and the spiritual leader too is like, well, the spirits like approves of this, whatever, so they follow through with the wedding.
Hmm. The
Um
whole process was so funny to me because like the entire time, Minghan is just like standing there. Like anytime
yeah.
like he has to like repeat something, it's so deadpan of like just
Yeah.
so even, like no emotion. It'll be like this and like whatever the person leading the ceremony will say something and he'll just repeat everything and it's just so like done.
Yeah. He's very much just like given in to like,
Yeah.
he's just like, I have to do this, otherwise I'm gonna die. So it's like
Hmm.
emotionless. Um, and afterwards, I guess there's like a thing where he has to like sleep with Mao Mao for 3 nights, and so his grandma like lays his clothes on the bed or whatever, and Minghan is just like, this is ridiculous, whatever.
It was so funny because he was like, "What happens if I roll on top of the clothes?" And I'm like, "That's fine. We don't know who's on top." And I was like, "Oh,
Yeah, I love the grandma. She's so funny.
she's just here for equality."
Yeah, she is. She seems lovely and
Hmm.
hilarious. But that night he is in the shower and this is so stupid. He like drops the soap. I'm pretty sure first of all his ass was in this scene.
I think
Um
so.
but he like drops the soap, it like shoots across the room. And so he's trying to pick it up without bending down, but it's like it's so ridiculous. And then Mao Mao shows up. Like the ghost. And it's so funny. He's just like completely messing with Minghan, and I love how Mao Mao like moves throughout this movie because he never walks. He only ever like floats, and
Yeah.
like a lot of scenes it'll cut like back and forth, and he'll just be like on completely different sides of the room or like different positions and stuff.
Yeah, he moves
Um,
around a lot.
yeah, and it's lovely. It's a great detail,
Hmm.
but he keeps like popping around the room, like completely messing with Minghan, and he's like, you know what? I actually didn't want this ghost wedding anyway. Like, you're not happy. I'm not happy with it either. But you know what? We're ghost married now, so like you can either continue to be homophobic to me, or you can call me your hubby. And Minghan chooses homophobia, so Mao Mao like he turns terrifying looking and possesses Minghan. And this is like an actual like jump scare.
Yeah, the
Like,
when he looks like his dead body, that was
mm-hmm.
so startling out of like all this comedy to all of a sudden look horrifying.
Yes. They like jump from like super comedy to just like horror in like a second.
Yeah, he's
And
like
yeah.
purple and like his head is snapped and like there's a bone sticking out of his neck and it just
Yeah, it's grotesque.
yeah, it's rough.
Yeah. And so, but what he does is he possesses Minghan to run around town naked and like pole dance. He's like he's like running around town like skipping and singing and stuff, and there's like a cop or something trying to talk to him. He's just like pole dances instead. Like
It's
it's
incredible.
so funny. And I love the scene too cuz it does feel like another person has possessed
Hmm.
Minghan.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you can definitely
yeah.
tell acting wise top notch.
Yeah, it is. And then he like unpossesses while Minghan's out there, and so he's kind of like, "Oh my god, like what the hell?" So, Minghan then later he goes to that like the spiritual leader again and is like, "Can we get divorced or whatever?" And the spiritual leader keeps like throwing the things and they keep landing in a way where he's like, "No, sorry, you can't. The spirits say that like first of all, you guys are meant to be together. Second of all, your spirits are tied because you were Mao Mao's dog in a previous life."
This is so incredible.
Yes. So it's like, okay, there's quite a connection, but um, but there is something that they can do, and that Mao Mao's ghost is still sticking around because he has, unfinished business. So the best thing you can do is help him fulfill those wishes so he can be reincarnated. So he goes to Mao Mao. He's like, "Okay, what are your dying wishes?" And Mao Mao's like, "Okay, first of all, I want to stop global warming."
Lofty goals
Which,
to start with.
yeah, right? It's a pretty big wish, but Ming Hun's able to like complete this kind of by like he starts like donating monthly to an organization and he like picks up trash and like switches to using reusable plastic and stuff. So that checks that one off the list. And then he's like, "Oh, I want to find a new owner to adopt my dog that I left behind." So Minghan is kind of forced to like adopt this dog, which is funny because he was the dog in a previous life. So
Because at first it was they were gonna like post on like social media to like get him a new dog, and then all of a sudden, Mao Mao was like, "No, actually, I want you to keep the dog."
yeah.
And
He's like, "You have to," because the dog was able to like see
yeah,
Mao Mao. So he's like, "Well, we can't get rid of him."
yeah, and because the dog does like a trick, like when you do bang, he like plays dead, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Mao Mao was like, "Oh, Ming Hao or Ming Han, do you also do that?"
Yeah.
And so he made him do that, which I thought was really funny.
I know. He does like even like bang bang. And then Minghan like immediately like fell to the floor. And
Hmm.
he's like, "Look, see, you still react to it. It's evidence."
It worked for me.
Yeah, right. Um and then the third thing that he wants is that he wants to visit his grandma and also delete all the sex videos off his phone while he's there.
This was insane.
Yeah. So like he goes and he visits grandma and of course she's super happy about it, but Mao's dad is also there and again like he's not very happy about the marriage. He's not very happy about this guy in their house, but he has the phone. So so basically Minghan is able to like get the phone from him and they like put in the password and they go through and they delete the photos and videos and stuff.
That was so much more graphic than I thought it would be.
I know. That's a lot of this movie. I was like, I didn't realize it'd be some of this is so graphic. But
Yeah, I was
like one starts like
shocked.
playing, it's like moaning at the dinner table. He's like coughing to like cover it up and stuff.
But even when he was like scrolling through, like the photos and
Hmm.
stuff were pretty graphic.
Yeah.
Like like you might as well have been like scrolling like Pornhub or something.
Yeah. I
I was
can
like,
see why he would want those deleted before his family
yeah,
found that.
yeah.
But one of them, Mao Mao was like, "Oh, keep that picture. Like that's really cute." And it turns out he had a boyfriend.
Ooh.
So
Mm.
interesting. Yeah. Um, and then also he finds out that so Mao Mao died in like a hit and run, and it was investigated by the precinct that Ming Han worked for, but the surveillance footage disappeared from that night, and so the cops basically told his family like, "We can't investigate. There's no evidence. The footage just disappeared," and like completely stopped investigating. So that's another reason why the dad doesn't really like Ming Han because he's like, "Oh, you work for that precinct that refuse to help me solve my son's murder.
Hmm. Valid reasons, I would say, to dislike him.
Yeah, quite valid. um, and then another dying wish is that Mama wants to visit his boyfriend and like make sure he's doing well, you know. And so they're kind of walking up to the apartment, and Ming Han's like, "What do I say?" And Mama's just like, "Oh, just like tell him not to be too sad, and like, you know, I hope he can find love again, whatever." And so they knock on the door, and the person who opens it is some random guy, and they're like, "Hey, is like this guy home, like the boyfriend?" And he's like, "Oh, babe, like someone's asking for you." And it turns out he already has a new boyfriend, which snappy turnaround.
Yeah, I the boyfriend's played by Aaron Yan, and I don't want to get any
Yeah.
kind of defamation law against us, so I'm not gonna say my actual opinions on Aaron Yan, but he
Yeah.
sucks, and we're gonna leave it at that. His character is fitting.
Yes, a fitting character. Yeah, the shitty boyfriend. How
Yeah.
how new for him.
Was there any acting here?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the only thing. When we were gonna watch this movie, I was like, I think Aaron Dean is in this. So I was like, I don't
Yeah.
know if we should watch this. But he's a pretty small role, so
Yeah, we see him
if
like one
anyone
more
was worried
time.
about that, I think it's not that
Yeah.
like,
He's
you
not in
know.
there much and he sucks, so it's fine to hate him. It's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, basically like, you know, Mao Mao runs away and he's clearly upset by this, but when Ming Han asks, he's just like, "Oh, well, you know what? It's fine. I'm just glad my boyfriend's doing well. I'm glad he's found someone else and he seems to be happy." So, it's kind
Sure.
of a pin put in that one.
Yeah. I would
Yeah.
also have just left that like, okay, that's what we're gonna go with for now. Um,
Yeah, not going to push you on that.
nope.
And so as they're leaving, they kind of randomly run into Mao's dad, who he is basically, he opens up to Ming Han and is like, "Listen, I have been working so hard to try to find the car and the person that killed my son, but like I've hit a wall. I can't find any new information, but you're a cop, so and you're married to my dead son, so he basically passes like all the info he's collected, and he's like, maybe like, you know, you'll be able to find more than I did." So yeah, it's a pretty like, I feel like it's, this is one of the first like vulnerable moments of Mao's dad, where because at first you kind of see him and you're like, okay, he's just like the homophobic dad maybe, but
Yeah.
then like, you know, you, the movie goes on and you start to see how much he really cares about his son. So yeah, so now in addition to kind of like this drug thing going on, which he's been like suspended from, but he's still interested in solving, he now wants to solve the murder, solve his husband's murder. So got two mysteries in one. So he talks to Mama about it, and he's like, "Oh, well, when I was hit, I was recording an Instagram story for my boyfriend because he's been ignoring me all day." And immediately Ming Han's like, "Oh, perfect. Like, let's see the story." So
Kind of insane.
yeah, how lucky, you know? So they like find it in the drafts, but like you can't really see anything from it other than the guy's shoes. Like you can see like the guy who hit him comes out of the car, walks up, and like walks away, and that's kind of all you can see. So not that
This,
helpful, but it's a place to start, you know?
at this point, I thought the guy that hit him was gonna end up being the boyfriend.
Mm, you know, I thought the guy that hit him was gonna be Ming Han.
I had that moment too, and I'm like, they wouldn't do that. I'm like, we can't have that. And I was like, but the
I
boyfriend,
know.
because I hate him already.
Yeah, that is also a good guess. Yeah,
It was incorrect.
yeah. Um, but yeah. So that doesn't work out. But he has this other idea where they go around the area and they end up finding this car who is parked in the area that has a dash cam, and it doesn't like record the street where Mao Mao died, but it recorded like it ended up recording people who witnessed the event. So there's two witnesses, and one is that drug dealer that they arrested earlier, which is great news because now they can go talk to him because he's in custody. Okay.
Yeah, super easy.
Yeah. Except the guy fucking died in jail because he got into a fight, and now their witness is dead. I love it. This movie is such dark humor, but in the best way to do like morbid humor. I live for it. So they're like, okay, it's fine. We have another guy. So they find him. They follow him into a gay club, and this scene is just so like heartwarming because like they're doing this dance to the song, which I'm not familiar with the song, but I assume it's like, has ties to queer culture in Taiwan. And Mao's like doing the choreographed dance to it with like everyone else, and of course they don't know he's there, but he's still like dancing with all of them. And it's so beautiful, but it's funny because he's like doing this while Minghan is changing into something more gay, because he was just like, you can't go in there wearing that. So yeah, Minghan's putting on something more gay while Mao dances with everyone.
Mao's like in the center of everybody, having a great time.
Yeah, it's really sweet. And while they're there, Mao he like teaches like how to like, this is how you like pick up guys or whatever.
Minghan was gonna approach like this big old like bulked up dude and go, "Hey, you're gay. I'm gay." Just go
Wink,
from
wink.
there.
Yeah.
Mao was like, "You're gonna die."
Yeah, he's like, the guy's gonna punch you for that. And it doesn't help either that like other guys are coming up to him and they're being like kind of rejected. So yeah, he figures out how to do this little eye thing, and like Mao kind of tries to like kiss him, but
Yeah, we had a moment. I thought we were gonna have like more of like a relationship between the two after that.
mm-hmm.
Because they like hinted of like them trying to or like Mao trying to kiss him.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, where'd that
Yeah.
go?
Yeah. I kind of expected this movie to not like have a relationship between the two, but it definitely gets more like bromance than I was expecting.
Yeah, because I didn't expect relationship either. That was like the hint of it, and where I was like, oh, are we gonna go that direction? And then we didn't.
Yeah.
Which confused me a little, but also I'm glad we didn't. I think it works better not doing that.
No, I agree. I think it's a little, I don't know. I think for what they did, I think this was like the best way to go about it.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree.
yeah. Because I think like Minghan's whole thing is like he's a homophobe, and it's not because it's like internalized homophobia, but
No,
just
yeah.
like because he hasn't really respected and like seen like women and gay people as capable, basically, is kind of like a running issue with him. So I think this movie works really well for him to like work on his own like perceptions of people and not have it be like he only does this because he's secretly gay and doesn't want to be type thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, but that scene when that happened, I was like, oh, like I wasn't expecting. But it was just like a second. It was kind of funny. So
Yeah.
And so Minghan, he goes up to the guy, and the flirting goes terrible. Doesn't work at all, and the guy throws him over his shoulder onto the ground and calls him gay, which is exactly what Minghan does in the beginning to that first guy in the showers. So
Full circle.
karma, yeah.
Yeah. I did like all the like people that came around him afterwards and like went voguing.
Yeah. They were all like, ooh, like that's a cool new move. They're also supportive. Yeah. But the guy, he leaves the club, and his name is Sauma, I guess. I don't know if that's important, but I wrote it down. And he like goes like to this warehouse or no, he goes home. He goes home first. And they follow him because they're like, we can't lose this guy. And while they're there, they run into Tsu Ching, who is there already doing like an undercover stakeout. And so she's like, what are you doing here? I thought you were suspended. And he's, this whole time, Minghan's having a difficult time balancing talking to a ghost and everyone else being like, who the fuck are you talking to? Not subtle at all. So they struggle with that for a while.
Tu Ching is like sitting in Mao Mao's lap, and Mao Mao's like losing his shit over.
Mm-hmm. Eventually, their target, he moves to another location. And this location is like the drug warehouse, which is like huge. And so like they follow him there, but they are a little too obvious and someone notices their car sitting there, so that guy walks up to them and of course Minghan is like panicking and Tsu Ching like, quick on her feet, she pretends to be like they pretend to be like a couple fighting, but it's just like Tsu Ching doing all the acting. She gets in the car and she's like, I can't believe you're lost, whatever, blah, blah, blah. She's like fake pregnant too, so they they ended up like doing a good job convincing this drug guy that they were just like a lost couple fighting and not a threat.
He's not the best cop, to be honest. He's not good
so
at it.
Bad. Yeah, he's kind of terrible, but and yeah, Tsu Ching definitely feels frustrated about it too, because she's definitely like the much better cop out of the two, but she is always the one who's just like told to, pin medals on people and not actually do the difficult work that she is much better at,
Mm-hmm.
And so they take this evidence of like the location of the warehouse back to the precinct, and they're like, this is amazing. We are able to get a search warrant with this info. And if we're able to crack this case, Minghan, like, you got your job back, like, you've proved yourself type thing. So, yeah, a lot at stake here. And as they're leaving, they overhear some guys, and they're being sexist towards Tsu Ching, kind of just being like, oh, who did she sleep with to get the job, whatever. And Minghan like wants to confront them like really quick, but she's just like don't bother doing that. Like, I hear this shit all the time. They're just doing it because they have tiny dicks, and like it's not worth it. Also, like, you don't have to white knight for me. I'm not helpless. Like, I can take care of myself. I love her so much. She's my favorite character in the movie.
She's a good cop, or like good at her job at least, and then does not take bullshit from men.
Yeah.
Because
I love her.
As someone who works in a very male-dominated field, it's not worth answering to all the dumb bullshit they say.
Yeah. Right.
Like, pick your battles.
Yeah.
And it's usually just by showing up and doing a better job,
Yeah, and that's kind of her thing too, is she's just like, I prove myself every day with the work I do. Like,
yeah.
It's not worth fighting them because they're insecure that they're not as good as me type thing. So.
Yeah. Because it's definitely not going to help anything in the long run, because they're just going to put a chip on even more of their shoulder,
Yeah,
so.
Right. That's a good point. And so the cops set up this plan to raid the warehouse, catch them in the act of possessing drugs, and then they can make their arrest. And so Tsu Ching goes undercover, and she's dressed as like a probiotic sales girl, I guess.
Yeah, very young looking, like fresh out of school type,
Yeah. She's like very cute and peppy, and she goes up to the guy guarding the door and is like talking to him, whatever. And while she's doing this, Bao Bao in ghost mode, he goes inside the warehouse, and he comes back and he's like, they're dumping like all their shit, like, they're getting rid of the evidence. And Minghan like says that to everyone, like, oh my god, they're dumping it all, like they're getting rid of the evidence. And all the other cops in the car are like, what? Like, how do you know this?
Hmm.
That's suspicious. um, and at the same time, he sees the guy at the door reach into his jacket and he thinks he's grabbing a gun. And so he opens the door and like runs out and like compromises the whole undercover mission basically. Um, and like the guy was actually just taking out his phone to like get her like WeChat or WhatsApp or something. But you know, he sees the cops run out, so he yells like, "Hey, cops are here!" and like gives everyone a warning. Which
Again,
apparently, you know, they're already dumping stuff, but like
yeah. Now they
that's
really
ghost
know.
intel.
Yeah.
So like the rest of the cops, you know, they don't like really buy that.
Yeah.
um, and so the cops are trying to bust on the door, and it takes them a couple minutes. And by the time they get inside, it's literally just the drug guys playing Just Dance and like eating a hot pot.
Such an insane scene again. Because what do you mean? It's like the old dude and some other people playing just.
I know. Yeah, they're like, you know, nothing illegal here. Just we're just dancing, you know.
Yep.
And so the cops start to wonder. They're like, is there a mole on the police force? Because like we know they had time to dispose of evidence, like from when you know the guy shouted out that there were cops there, but like was there that much time? Like they must have started disposing earlier. So kind of they start wondering if there's a mole afoot.
Yep. There
So
it must be.
yeah, very a lot of coincidences happening.
Hmm.
But I guess the highlight of the day is that the car there, Salma, his car was there, and remember he was a witness of the hit and run, and his car was facing in the direction of the road, so he actually had dash cam footage of this, and so like Mao Mao and Ming Han, they get their hands on it, they get the footage, and they're able to see that it is the head drug guy, Lin Sao Yuan. He is the one who caused the hit and run as well. So he's the guy they want both for the drugs and the hit and run.
So the fates, whatever gods, definitely did set this marriage up for a reason.
Yes, absolutely. They know what they were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, also makes sense why there are two witnesses for this, and, you know, neither of them would, like, report it or something, I guess, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's their boss.
Hmm.
And so, oh my god, Minghan, he decides to give the footage to Tsuching, and she basically gives it back. She's like, I don't want this. Like, she's like, why don't you use it yourself to get your frickin' job back instead of once again trying to, like, you know, fight my battles for me, and like she feels like demeaned by this action because
Hmm.
she's just like, you know, what do you mean that you don't think that I can solve things on my own, like that, like you don't have to pity me kind of thing just because I'm a woman basically.
Yeah.
And she's also just like, I don't want to be your partner anymore. She gives it back.
Yeah, I don't blame her for that either.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
he's again not a very good cop.
Yeah, right. Yeah, also, you know, dude, worry about yourself. Like, you're suspended from your job currently.
Yeah.
And your friend, she's doing fine. So, you know,
Yeah.
she doesn't need your pity. You need your own pity.
Hmm.
But, you know, the information, she lets the police know, whatever, that they have the footage anyway. And, the cops, they ride out. And on the way, the boss is like, do you have an informant or something? Like, how do you know this information? Because, like, obviously, if they have evidence to arrest him for the hit and run, which is perfect because they want to arrest him anyway. So, so the boss is like, who's your informant? You know, and Ming Han's like, oh, he's dead. And the captain's like, already? Like, that quick? Like, that's really weird and suspicious. I mean, it is hard to explain how you got information from a ghost.
So my husband I married after he became a ghost. He now goes through the walls and tells me what's happening inside these places while we're
Yep.
staking them out.
And that is how I have my information.
Yep.
Really sound. But
hmm
it is what it
Definitely
is.
would make me question whether or not that cop needs to go on a more permanent leave. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. You can't just like straight up say that.
no.
So, but he tells the truth. He's like, yeah, he's dead, which is true.
And he was killed by the dude, right? The
Mhm.
Lin Sao Yuan, whatever. Um,
Mhm.
he was just
Yeah.
timeline might be a little off.
Yeah. Yeah, right. So they go and they raid Lynn's house, but it's completely empty. They're long gone, which again, they're like they must have been tipped off by the mole. And so the captain is asking Ming Han if he's the mole, and he's basically like, if you can't tell me who your informant is, like you're suspended because you're again like suspended because like
Yeah.
look at all the evidence basically points to you.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, Ming Han can't tell them about his ghost husband being the informant, so yeah, he gets suspended.
Which I still think is going easy on him at this point. Like,
It
imagine,
is.
like, if they actually think he's the mole and all they do is suspend him. Like, come on.
I know. I mean, I feel like they probably need like actual. If they had actual evidence, they'd probably arrest him. But
Yeah.
like for now,
Just keep him
they're
away.
probably like, as long as we don't work with him, he can't tip them off.
hmm
So they got a lot going on right now.
Yeah.
Um, and so Ming Han and Bao Mao, they like they get into a fight and stuff, and tensions are high, and he runs off to the ex's house again,
Of
and
course.
basically the ex admits like, you know what, like I didn't want to get married to Mao Mao. I only like he wanted to, and so I just kind of went along with it because I didn't want to hurt his feelings.
What a
But I was
jerk.
actually, I know, like just be honest with them.
Yeah.
But he's like, oh, but I started distancing myself, which is like why he wasn't answering his phone that day that Mao Mao
hmm
died.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and so Ming Han punches him, and I'm like, yeah,
Yes. Aaron Yan deserved that.
woohoo. Yeah, right. And it's funny because he makes another note too. He's like, "You're gonna come in here and beat me up just like Mao Mao's dad did," which is like
What?
interesting. Like, I almost missed that at first, but it'll come back later.
Yeah.
And so yeah, Mao Mao, Ming Han, they have a heart to heart after they're kind of sitting by the lake or the river, the ocean or whatever, and Mao Mao's basically just like, what all I wanted in life was like I wanted a relationship. I wanted someone to like love me and to trust and to be my best friend. And he's like, you have done such a good job of being someone who I care about, and thank you for all you've done for me, and goodbye. And he just starts floating up into the rainbow in the sky.
First time I got emotional in this movie. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, because at this point you're like, oh my god, like, he's reincarnated.
yep.
Yeah.
It was like Ming Hao. I was like, yeah, you can stay. Like, Ming Han. I keep saying Ming Hao.
I know, I know. I keep thinking that too.
But Ming Han, was like, yeah, you can stay forever with me now, right? And Mao Mao was
Hmm.
like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna go now. But like,
Bye.
but like,
Woo.
super emotional, and I was like, oh.
Yeah. It is very sweet, but there is some unfinished business still.
Yeah.
So, but for all intents and purposes, we assume that he's reincarnated.
Yep.
Um, so then we see that the police is getting a call, and the call is telling him to meet at Pier 2.
Hmm.
And at this point, we're like, oh, is the captain who gets this call, is he the mole?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Hmm.
And Ming Han is at home, and he hears like a weird sound coming from his bathroom,
Hmm.
and so he goes in there, and yeah, Mao Mao's still there. He's like trying to like jump scare him basically, but he's kind of like
This was so
not,
funny.
he's used to it.
Because it's so everything about this. Because first off, this was another butt scene
Yeah, butt scene, another butt scene. You're right.
because Minghan was getting ready to masturbate at the
Yeah,
computer, so he didn't have any
he
pants
gets
on.
disrupted.
But I loved because this is the one with the mirror, right?
Yeah, where he's
So
like opening and closing the mirror thing.
yeah, so he's got a medical cabinet mirror in his bathroom, and like he'll like open it and then close it, and nothing will be behind him, and then open it and close it, and then Mao Mao's behind him, like making the goofy
Uh,
face and like screaming. And they do
yeah,
that back and forth so many times, and like Mao Mao's just going up and down, like ducking, and just like screaming. And it gets off balance because the mirror's opening and closing faster than he can go up and
yeah.
down.
It's so good. It's another good mix of just like, it's terrifying, but it's hilarious.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
It's how I would want to haunt somebody.
yeah. He also like blows steam on the mirror and writes like a number 2 in
Hmm.
there. And that's supposed to be his little cryptic ghost message, but of course,
Ming,
because he's just still there, he's
yeah.
just like, oh, by the way, um, uh, you should know that Lin is trying to skip town tonight, and I overheard Captain Cheng. He's the mole because he got a call and was told to go to the pier where Lin is skipping town, so he's the mole.
Hmm.
Um, so
Well,
twist.
hmm.
And of course, like Ming Han is like, oh shit, like that's why he was consistently trying to ask me who my informant was. Like that's why he was
Yeah,
asking me so many times. It makes total
makes sense.
sense.
Yeah,
Which it did make total sense, and I totally bought it. So
me too.
yeah. So the police show up to the pier, and there's like immediately like, he gets there, and there's already a shootout, and they end up kind of inside an area where Lin is like gathering his things to, his money and stuff to try to leave. And like Captain Chang is there and whatever, and they're kind of going through room by room. And Ming Han puts like a gun to the captain's head and is like, I know it's you, basically. Um, and they're talking a little bit, and Suching comes up and holds them both at gunpoint. And actually, the mole was her. And I love she like looks at right at the camera and she's like, twist.
So not serious.
It's so unserious. But I didn't see it coming. So I was like, oh
No.
yeah. And so yeah, basically she was the one. So she was the mole the whole time, and she was the one who called the captain with this information. So Mao Mao thought that's why Mao Mao thought the captain was the mole, but it was Suching. Yeah, and so she handcuffs both of them together, so they're both like trapped, like handcuffed to this bar, basically. And but Suching isn't like loyal to Lin, because he's like, okay, your job is like to get rid of them, and then like here's like a little bit of money, and then I'll like call you when I like get out of town. And she's like, nope, it's gonna take a lot more money than that. And she like nails him to the wall with like knives through his hands, basically. um, and I love her so much. And she's basically like, she's got this whole backstory where she's like, listen, like, you're the reason my mom overdosed and died. And he just like, he doesn't remember at all. And she's just like, okay, whatever. Like, fuck you. Um, and so while he's nailed to the wall, she takes all the money and she's just like, okay, the police are gonna come in here and arrest you. Adios. and and Mama's watching all of this and he is so excited. He like runs back out to Ming Han, who's like still handcuffed, and he's like, oh my god, it's like a soap opera in there, like she's avenging her dead mother and like double crossing people. um and I agree with him. I at this point I'm like, I please let my queen get away with this. um and she, it seems like she does, because she just isn't in the rest of the movie, so I assume she got away with it.
Yeah, I guess so. Which
Yeah.
good, deserved.
Yeah, which is exactly what I wanted. So I love that. Um, and so, um, eventually, like the rest of the gang comes in and they free Lin, and Lin comes out and he's about to shoot Ming Han, but Mao Mao does his possession thing again, and so takes control of his body and he unlocks like the handcuffs and frees the cops, and then like the rest of the cops show up, and Mao Mao accidentally sets off the gun on one of his own like gang guys, and he's like freaking out. He's like, oh my god, I killed someone. uh, and he like unpossesses Lin, right as Chubby shoots Lin, because he's like, oh, Lin is shooting his own people. So
Shot from Chubby too.
it is. It absolutely is. Also, Chubby earlier at like the car shootout scene, I think he was like nailed. Like he was like had his gun. He was like scared. He was like, I don't want to be here. And then he like was like shooting people like in the head. He's just a natural shot, I guess.
He's a great character, honestly. Very small
Yeah.
role, but on a
I know. I
peak
wish he was
comedy.
like. Yeah, I wish he was like in it more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's a lot of chaos here. So basically, there's like a whole brawl and everyone's fighting, and during this fight, Mao Mao is like possessing guys and like just kissing like other dudes. And this is like enough of a distraction that Ming Han is able to like win this fight, like him versus like six guys, because they're like kissing each other and they're all like confused, so he wins. Which is great. I saw some like Reddit posts or some shit on like basketball strategies, and they're like, guys, hear me out. Like, I think the best strategy is like, why hasn't anyone done this, where you just like kiss someone on the other team, and then he's like, listen, if like Kobe and LeBron are kissing on the court, no one is watching that damn basketball. And so yeah, it kind of reminded me of that, where it was like, okay, the kissing strat, yeah.
I'm not gonna fight anybody.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, but the problem with possessing all these people is he's getting like really weak because of it. Like
It takes a lot of energy.
yeah, it's not an easy thing to do. And so at the very end of this, Lin just walks in, shoots Ming Han in the chest. It's pretty bad. And the chief is on the floor, he shoots Lin. So
Mao Mao tried to save Ming Han. He did the bang bang thing, right?
yeah.
Like the puppy thing of like play dead,
to
right?
get down, yeah.
Yeah, and it just nothing happened in time because, bullets are fast. But it was just this is where the waterworks happen again.
I know.
Just Mao Mao's reaction of like freaking out, right?
Yeah. Oh, I know, and it's like, it's it's bad when a dead ghost is crying for you,
Right?
like it's shit has happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so, Minghan isn't immediately dead. He is in critical condition though, so he's in the ambulance and he is talking to Mao Mao and he's like, I'm so glad I got to know you, like, thank you for being in my life. And he's like, thank you, my husband, which is like sweet.
Yeah.
But then he flatlines because there's so much damn traffic that the ambulance can't get to the hospital. So, Mao Mao decides to possess all of the drivers ahead of them in the road and like move their car like out of the way, like onto like the curb or the wall or whatever. And then yeah, the ambulance is able to get through and to the hospital.
Have you ever seen the movie Bruce Almighty?
No, I've
Okay.
heard of it,
So there's a Jim
but I
Carrey
haven't
movie,
seen
right, where he gets God's powers.
it. Uh-huh.
And there's a scene in it where he moves all the cars in the exact same way that Mao Mao does, but he just like does it with his
Oh.
hands, but they like separate in the same like angled way like that, and that's all I could think of when I saw him doing that.
Maybe it was like a reference to that or something.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So because of this and the efforts, Minghan lives, so he wakes up in the hospital bed in very bad shape, but he sees like on the news like what happened, so he probably understands like what Mao Mao did for him. But he doesn't see Mao Mao for a while, but eventually he sees him and he's there, but he is very much like he's very weak from this and he's like fading. You can see like parts of his like soul or whatever is like I don't know how to describe
There's
it.
like
Like
chunks
floating up.
missing. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
he's like like floating up like you said, but there's also like holes like in his like shoulder and whatever. Like
Mhm.
it's not great. But also,
Yeah.
real talk, Minghan would not have survived that.
No, it was like a proper like
Straight
it
to the
was like
heart, honestly.
straight to the heart shot. Yeah.
And the fact that he was bleeding out the hole in the front, but he was also bleeding out the back.
Yeah.
So like
I genuinely thought I was like this man's dead for
right?
sure.
I was like, oh, they're gonna reunite as ghosts, and then they're both gonna
Yeah.
pass on, and then they're gonna reincarnate together. That was where I was at.
That's what I was thinking too, because I did not think he was gonna survive this.
No,
But
real talk, he would not have. I don't care what anyone says.
no.
That much blood that
uh,
he lost immediately, because that was a
mhm.
fast pool of blood underneath him. By the time the
Yeah, it
ambulance got
was.
there, no.
No.
It's
But I
like,
guess nothing about this movie is realistic,
no,
so
I mean, it's fine. It's great. I'm glad he
you
survived.
know,
But
suspension of belief, I guess. But yeah, he
yeah,
definitely like I genuinely was like, yeah, this man's dead real quick.
yeah. But he's
Yeah,
alive, so it's
so
fine.
yeah, he's alive, which is good.
Hmm.
And Mao Mao's father visits him in the hospital, and like it starts getting really emotional here. He like thanks him like for all he did to catch the person who killed his son and for marrying him and stuff. And he Minghan is like, well, what would you say to Mao Mao if you could? Because like his father was like, there's so much I would say to my son, but I can't. I never can.
Hmm.
But so Ming Han's like, well, why don't you say it to me? Because you can still say it to me because I'm still here. Um, and so Mama's dad basically like apologizes for everything, like apologizes for being close-minded and not as accepting to Mao Mao, and he blames himself for his son's death. And partly the reason was because so we see the scene where he is picking up some food and he picks up like two orders like for him and his son, but then he stops and thinks about it and he gets three because he knows his son has a boyfriend. So that was kind of like he was
Hmm.
kind of taking steps into accepting and getting to know his son and his partner. But when he shows up at the boyfriend's door, he sees the boyfriend cheating on his son, with the guy that we saw earlier at the door, like the one he rebounded with really quick. Guess it wasn't a rebound. They were
Nope.
just together since before they
Oh,
broke up. So
What a douche. I
Horrible,
hate him
horrible.
so much. Casting peak.
I know, right? Yeah. And so he's like, yeah, partially that's why he reacted so badly when, like, later on Mao Mao announces, now it told him that, like, hey, me and my boyfriend, we plan to get married. But the dad didn't was basically like, no, I don't accept that, you can't marry him, whatever. But he didn't say, like, you can't marry him because he's cheating on you, because he didn't want to make his son depressed, basically. So instead, like, to Mao Mao, he thought his dad was just saying this because he doesn't want him to, like, marry a man, you know,
Yeah.
because he wasn't the most accepting in the past. So
Mm-hmm.
valid assumption. um and so he basically gave Mao Mao an ultimatum, like, hey, it's either, like, you keep a relationship with me or you marry that guy, which, you know, is a sad thing to do.
Dad, come on, just tell the truth.
I know. And I believe Mao Mao died that day or something, because the dad was like, and, like, how was I supposed to know I would never see him again?
Yeah, because it's
So,
Mao Mao stormed off after that and went out and was sad, and that's why he was calling his boyfriend the entire time and was being ignored.
mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's when all that caught up.
I feel so bad for Mao Mao.
Right?
Yeah. Um, he's such, like, a good guy. He's like shitty people, but
Yeah.
and so yeah, we found out after that the dad, he did this, where it comes back to the boyfriend comment, where he did go to the ex-boyfriend's house and he, like, punched him. Which I love. I love that both him and Ming Han both punched him.
Hmm.
And but then later, because the dad was like, well, originally I went there because I was trying to get my son's passcode, but I lost my temper and punched him. So he, like, ends up going back later and is like, please give me the passcode, sorry I punched you. But the boyfriend was like, I don't know the passcode. So
Yeah.
yeah. But basically the dad is like, says that, you know, now he is, like, in favor of their marriage, and he was like, if you guys, you know, had a, like, you know, a ghost wedding now, like, I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Hmm.
And yeah, this is basically the last thing that Mao Mao needs to move on into the afterlife, or to reincarnate. So yeah, after this, Mao Mao, he, like, moves on
Yeah.
for sure, like, completely now. So
Yep.
yeah,
So,
and that's about it.
yeah, Ming Han does fully recover, and
Hmm.
he stays in contact with the Mao Mao's family.
Yes, that's really sweet to
So,
see.
yeah, he was FaceTiming with them. It looks like he's gonna masturbate again. That's what
I
happens, and it
know.
ends up
That's
him
what I
face.
thought at first, and I was like,
Weird
because
way
it's,
to
like,
end
in the
this
same
movie.
spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
He's wearing the same
I
shirt
was,
too. Um,
hey, why not end this movie like the way we started it? You know, full ass, naked in a shower.
yeah, I was very confused because he like grabs like some tissue too, and then all of a sudden it's like a girl on screen, and I'm like, she looks a little young for this.
I totally thought that too, and I think the movie wanted us to think that, but
Yeah.
it was actually wholesome instead.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So my my headcanon is that they will reincarnate together and be
Yeah.
together again because since it was one was the other one's dog, and then they were husbands, and that next time I need them to be living husbands. It's my
Yeah.
headcanon.
Yeah. I think that's good. I would like to see it too.
Yeah, because once the dad started talking and like apologizing or whatever, that like that point on, I was just like sobbing.
Yeah. No, it's really sweet to see, like, a dad and son. I mean, it's weird because, like, the son's dead, but, like, the dad, it's like a dad and son being kind of vulnerable about this and, like, open about gay things too. I feel like is,
Yeah.
you don't always, like, see it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't know. I thought it was done well. I enjoyed this movie a lot. It was, like, obviously a lot of it is, like, silly and ridiculous and
It's fun.
lighthearted,
Yeah.
but then I think the moments where they do things, like, really emotionally, it works really well too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does a good job of balancing the two.
Yeah.
It waits till the end to just slam you in your feels.
Yeah. I know. Like the last like couple minutes, I was like, damn,
Yeah.
like really coming for me here.
So there is a Thai version of this now that came out in March.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
called
What
The
is
Red
it?
Envelope,
Right.
and
That's out?
it came out in March in theaters. I
Oh,
don't think it's on streaming yet. Um, but it
right.
stars Bilkin and PP. So
Right. Okay.
I've heard it's
Yeah.
really good. Um,
Okay. I need to see it.
yeah, I love Bilkin and PP, and so I am all here for it. I'm curious if they lean more into the BL side of things because they
That's a
are a
good
ship, you know?
question. Yeah.
Um, so it'll be interesting if they go further, if they keep it the same.
Yeah, right.
Um, so, but yeah, it's as soon as it comes out on streaming somewhere.
Mhm.
'Cause
I'll be there.
yeah, because it was into March, so it's only been like 2 months. I
Mhm.
had to look at the
Yeah,
date.
that's
So
pretty recent.
yeah, but I bet we'll have it on some sort of streaming within the next few months.
Yeah, I hope so.
So, and I'll be
Yeah.
curious how they compare.
I
So,
know. Yeah, I wonder if they'll like cuz like I think the actors in this version are quite a bit older
hmm
than Bilkin and PPR. So I wonder if like the career stuff will be the same or if they'll change that. I don't know.
Bilkin and PP are both 26. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
So, I thought they were younger.
Yeah.
So, I could still
Baby
see
face.
them doing the cop thing.
Yeah. It
So,
would make sense still.
oh wow. The actors in Marry My Dead Body are both older than me. A rarity.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no, this was so much fun to watch.
Mhm.
Like I'd heard it was really good, but you never know what you're getting into. Um,
Yeah, right.
especially I went in pretty blind. Like I knew there was like a ghost marriage thing, and that was about all I knew.
Yeah,
So
I knew it was gay but not like BL. Like I
yeah,
knew there were like gay themes and
hmm
characters, but it wasn't really like a love story. Um
yeah.
so
One of the things I did like, I don't know if you caught this detail or not. So at the very end, when um, what's his face, Ming Han, um, was doing the video call with Mao Mao's family.
Oh, his water bottle?
Yes, that has the like
Yes.
equality stickers and like a gay pride thing, like or the gay
Yeah.
flag on it and stuff like that. And he like picks that up and walks off with it afterwards too.
Yep,
Um,
yeah, I did see
yes.
that. He's an ally now.
Yes. So he had some growth, some character growth, which I mean you can kind of tell pretty quickly, like in the show
Mhm.
anyway. But it was nice to kind of seal it with something subtle like that. Um,
Yeah. No, I agree. I thought that was like a cute detail as well.
hmm
Yeah, so happy we watched this.
Me too. Um, yeah, if you've watched it, let us know in the comments what you thought of it. Or you can find us on our socials and tell us there. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at bl.in.the.air. Twitter's BL in the air. Discord invite link is in the link tree along with links to all the other socials. Streaming video on Spotify and Apple Music. I think this week we're back to video. A couple weeks of no video for us.
Yeah, my PC seems to be working. It all depends on if I am able to export the video this time or if it will only let me export the audio. So cross my fingers it'll be smooth.
Yeah, we'll send a ghost to your computer and make it work.
Please. I need like a little mechanic ghost.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so streaming on Spotify and YouTube on video and audio is pretty much everywhere. And we'll catch you next week. Finale week.
Finale. Oh my god.
Just season
I can't
finale, we
believe
will be
it.
back. No stress.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
We just need a couple months off.
Yeah. Watch a
So,
bunch of new shows that we can talk about.
yes. With that in mind, if there's anything you want us to talk about, let us know.
Yes, we'll try to incorporate it in season 3.
So, until then, or until next week, bye.
Bye.